everyone, I'm Dee Iraka, and I am a registered dietitian nutritionist and also a professionally trained chef. Today I'm in my kitchen and I am making pickled vegetables. This is a great way to get your vegetables in, of course, and it's also a great way to save money because you can actually buy vegetables and preserve them with something very simple like pickling. So let's get started. It's going to be super quick. I've got 2 teaspoons of salt. I recommend a canning or pickling salt or even a kosher salt. Just make sure it doesn't have any other additives in that. So I've got 2 teaspoons of salt. I've got a teaspoon and a half of sugar. And then we are going to add a half a cup of water, which I already have measured out, and a half a cup of regular distilled vinegar. You don't need to get fancy. You don't need to have anything like apple cider vinegar or any of the other ones that are expensive. Use the regular clear distilled vinegar and that will work totally fine. So I've got those in here. I'm going to go ahead and dump those into my saucepan, and I'm going to get that on just like a medium heat is fine. We are going to want to bring that up to a boil, but we can certainly do that on a medium heat. And while that is warming up, we are going to get our vegetables prepared. So I'm actually going to do 2 different types of vegetables. One of them is okra. And let me just tell you something about okra. Here in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I live, okra is incredibly abundant here in the summer. And it's also something that is served in a lot of restaurants. But as you can probably imagine, it is normally covered with cornmeal and then deep fried. So this is really an alternative. It's much healthier, obviously, because it's not deep fried and it doesn't have any other coating or anything on it. It's just simply the actual okra. So let's get started with this quick and easy demo. I've got a very clean mason jar. I like these wide mouth jars because it's a lot easier than trying to get all of these things in a real small mouth. So I have got my okra. I do want to go ahead and trim these off, and I just want to show you what that would look like. So I'm just taking the ends and just making sure that they're cleaned off. You really don't want to get into the actual okra. If you've ever eaten okra or purchased okra, you know that once you cut into it, there's kind of a little bit of a film that starts to come out. And that's part of the reason why a lot of people don't like okra, is because of that kind of, I would call it a little kind of a sliminess to it. So again, pickling these really reduces that sliminess and gives them a really nice crunch. I am not going to use this one because if you look closely, you can see that that is really already open. I hear my liquid starting to simmer. So you want to give it a little bit of a swirl because you do want all of that salt and the sugar to dissolve. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And I'm also going to put my spices in. So this is pretty simple. I have got here a teaspoon of mustard seed. I've also got a teaspoon of coriander. I've got a teaspoon and a half of the dill seed that I have here. And I also have about a 1/4 teaspoon of peppercorns. You can see all the beautiful spices there. So now I'm going to go ahead and add those into my hot water. This is going to kind of let the spices bloom a little bit to get our pickling brine ready to go. Then what we're going to do is add our washed and dried okra. I'm going to take my jar and I'm going to go ahead and pack these in here. I like to pack them in where I have some stems up and some stems down. And so I just am going to layer these in here. You could actually start on one end. That does make it a little easier. And just kind of pop these in here like so. And you want to get them somewhat snug. And one last one that I can squeeze in there is right in this nice little hole. So now I have my okra already in my jar. One last thing I'm going to go ahead and add in there is this red chili. Now you could use a dried chili if you want to. You could also use red pepper flakes, and that will give you a little bit of that extra spice. I like using a Fresno chili. Fresno chilies are pretty easy to get at the grocery store, and they do have great flavor, but they're not super spicy, but they do have a little bit of spice. So I leave the seeds in because, again, I want a little bit of the spice. You could actually just put a tiny pinch of red pepper flakes, or you just go ahead and leave it out. I'm going to strategically place these in kind of near the outside. That is because they look beautiful. And sometimes when we cook and we do things because we want to make them look beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and just wedge this in on the edges and make sure that everything in here is nice and snug. So now you can see I've got my red pepper in there, and it looks really beautiful. The last thing we've got to do is take our pickling brine, and you can see it's still a little hot and it's kind of steeping. And then we're going to go ahead and take this beautiful brine and carefully pour it right over top of all of my beautiful vegetables. I grabbed some extra water because you can see that the pickling brine is not quite to the top, and we want to make sure it goes all the way to the top. So I'm just going to add a little extra water. I am going to take my knife and kind of push these down into the brine and make sure that each one of my pieces is covered in between, because we want to make sure that all of this okra gets nice and pickled. Then, easy peasy, pop on the lid. I might give it a tiny little shake just to be sure that all of those beautiful spices is right in there with these vegetables. I can put this in my refrigerator, and in about 3 to 5 days, these are going to be flavorful and crunchy, ready for your charcuterie board, ready to have as kind of a side. Sometimes I like to just snack on them too. They're going to give you a nice crunch, and they're going to be beautiful and delicious.